I don't know how to start this. We are so screwed. We are so screwed. Canada is in so much trouble right now. Oh my goodness. So Trump hit us this morning with the big T. It's official, right? And it's coming effect Tuesday. Tuesday, it's in full effect. And now you have Canadian politicians, Canadian mayors, everybody is spinning over what the heck is going on? What are we going to do? Oh my goodness. This is the end. And I'll be very frank, folks. This does feel like it's the end of Canada. Like, I don't know how else to say that. I don't know if there's a singular person or a singular party that can get us out of this, because it seems like every party, every politician unanimously has kind of the same outlook. We need to have Canada first, Team Canada, Canada first, and we need to hit America back, cut off the power, no more oil and gas, dollar for dollar tariffs. And I don't see this ending well. In fact, some mayors, some premiers are actually already taking action. Doug Ford went and broke his silence on a Canadian news outlet. No, sorry, on an American news outlet. He went on CNN, and that's where he announced, we're going to cut off your power. That's a weird thing to say on an American network to an American audience. So that's kind of strange. And then David Eby, Premier of BC, just came out moments ago and said that he's what the hell did he say? I've got it pulled up. He said that he's stopping the sale of American liquor. Canada won't be purchasing, BC won't be purchasing any American liquor anymore. So yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with our politicians. I don't suggest that we bend over when the bending over aspect of this is literally just fixing our country. That's not bending over. That's doing what's best for you. That's doing what's best for me and future generations. But hey, not to worry, because Canada's going to have a COVID-style response to COVID-style relief response to the tariffs, and we're going to implement some tariff relief response in the near future. Yay. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the end of Canada, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. This is a Canadian channel, and soon we're all going to be American, so it doesn't really matter anyways. If you have American beer, if you have American liquor, I suggest you drink it, because it's not going to be available, at least not in British Columbia, anytime soon. Is that kind of what I'm understanding? We got a lot of things to go through. Justin Trudeau's addressing the nation in about 30-ish minutes, 20-ish minutes. We don't know if he's going to be late. We don't know if he's going to be early, but I do have it pulled up, and I've also got people that are very, very much waiting and watching to send me updates and things like that. So there's a whole team working on this tonight, and it's a shit show. This is a shit show. I've been watching this on the TV with my family all day. We've all been getting into crazy arguments, and yeah, I decided to go live because, to be honest, I've locked the door so they can't come in anyways. And the internet's in here, so they can't plug me off. So we're good, folks. We're good. We're going to get through this together. We're going to start off by taking a look here at what Justin Trudeau has said on X. Justin Trudeau, is this the right screen? That's good. Justin Trudeau said, the United States has confirmed that it intends to impose 25% tariffs on most Canadian goods, with 10% tariffs on energy starting February 4th. That's on Tuesday. We are Saturday right now. I've met with the premiers and our cabinet today, and I'll be speaking with President of Mexico shortly. We did not want this, but Canada is prepared, and I'll be addressing Canadians later this evening. And you can see I got one of the top comments here saying, we are all jealous of your ex-wife. She got to leave you. By the way, I am extremely unhinged on X. If you want to go follow me on X, I highly recommend that you do, because I use some words there that I don't use on YouTube, because I don't know if I'd even be allowed. And then you've got Danielle Smith's post on X. This, bro, I'm not reading all this. Come on, my guy just sent me this. He's like, pull up Danielle Smith's response. Bro, I'm not reading all this. I don't even know how to read that many words. Okay. I am disappointed with U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to place tariffs on Canadian goods. This decision will harm Canadians and Americans alike and strain the important relationship and alliance between our two nations. Alberta will do everything in its power to convince the U.S. President and Congress, as well as American people, to reverse this mutually destructive policy. Okay, and you can see she wrote a whole bunch of stuff, and it's not a bad statement. It's a pretty decent political statement. 171,000 views. Justin Trudeau's had, I think, 300,000 or something like that. Where else does she say? We know that the reduced 10% tariffs for Canadian energy, which is partially a recognition of the advocacy undertaken by the government and industry to the U.S. administration, pointing out the substantial wealth created in the U.S. by American companies and tens of thousands of American workers that upgrade and refine approximately $100 billion of Canadian crude into $300 billion of products sold all over the world by those same companies. And if you want to read Danielle Smith's entire thing, because it's broken up into two parts, feel free to go do that. We got a lot of stuff to look at right now in a short amount of time because, again, Dictator Trudeau is going to be speaking and the clock is ticking. Now on to the leader of the opposition, whose post outperformed everyone else's post. He has almost 1 million views on this post, and if I refresh it, probably even closer. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. 1 million likes, or 1 million views rather. We must put Canada first. That is what common sense conservatives, that is why common sense conservatives condemn President Trump's massive, unjust, and unjustified tariffs on Canada's already weak economy. And then he says, this is our Canada First plan. And this is massively backfiring on Pierre. I'll be the first to admit it's incredibly backfiring on Pierre. But his first point is that he wants to retaliate with dollar-for-dollar tariffs carefully aimed at maximizing impact on American companies while minimizing the impact on Canadian consumers. 2, he wants to put all the tariff revenues into help for affected workers and businesses. Like a bit of a GoFundMe thing. That's not that bad of an idea, but still, man, for crying out loud. 3, he wants to pass massive emergency bring it home tax cuts to bolster the economy and stop inflation and save and create jobs. 4, he wants to immediately scrap the liberal anti-resource law C-69 and greenlight LNG plans, pipelines, mines, factories, and port expansions to overseas markets. Okay. That's good. Yeah, man, let's go. Like dig, drill. Let's go. Let's make a lot of money. Let's do this stuff. Next, 5, bring in truly free trade within Canada by knocking down intra-provincial barriers. Folks, I will drink to that. Let's do a cheers if you're drinking. I got some White Claw in here. Not much time left before this isn't on the shelves in BC, so I'm drinking my claws, having a white boy winter. Okay. He wants to do intra-provincial trade. That's phenomenal. We need more rhetoric around that. 6, rebuild our military and take back control of our borders to regain the confidence of our partners, assert our sovereignty, protect our people, and put Canada first. Rebuild our military and take back control of our borders. Yeah, again, phenomenal. Like, that is great. But where he lost a lot of people, including me, is the first one, retaliate with dollar-for-dollar tariffs. And you can see here, I said, maybe this was a little bit aggressive, but I said, the more that you support retaliatory tariffs, the less I like you. Doesn't mean I won't ever support Pierre. That doesn't mean I don't support Pierre at all. It just means that I don't like him right now with what he's doing. And he's getting blasted by a bunch of creators. Bad take, Pierre. Are you simple? What's wrong with just getting on the phone and calling Trump? The liberals set a trap and you walked into it. Like, he's absolutely getting roasted by people that have been propping him up for a very, very long time. So it's not looking good for Pierre. It doesn't matter everything else he said. The fact that he supports dollar for dollar retaliatory tariffs isn't good, especially because he's not in a position to actually like put forward any of these policies because he's not government. He's just an opposition party. I think that that's a bit premature, but maybe he wants to, you know, it's kind of like a tactic, I suppose, for Pierre to say, well, if he took the opposite approach and just had this kind of bend over mentality that I'm suggesting, and the bend over aspect is we just fix our country, that's it, no mention of retaliatory response or tariffs at all, like just do what he's saying we should do because we should have done it a long time ago, then that would be ammunition that the Liberals and the NDP would potentially use against him and say, see, he's not Canada first, blah, 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 blah. So it's a bit of a political strategy, but I don't like it. And that's okay. We can disagree on things. Everyone is so fragile right now that if you have one disagreement on something someone says, it's it. That's it. It's just like, oh, it's the end of the world, man. And I feel like we really need to just tone it down a bit and just have a nice open discussion and open up that dialogue. That being said, now let's get into some of these videos as to what the heck is actually happening. So earlier today, Vashi Kapelos got, interviewed, it looks like from her home or whatever, home office, on what's to be expected from these tariffs. So let's take a look at this. And we're going to be taking a look at what Doug Ford said. We're going to be taking a look at things that David Eby says. This is going to be a bit of a lengthy live stream, okay? Here we go.
What more do we know about these U.S. tariffs?
Well, the big thing, as you said there, Renee, is certainly around the timeline. I think this is exactly what U.S. President Donald Trump had indicated yesterday, that the tariffs were for sure going to be announced. My understanding is that the federal government was officially informed for the first time, I should say, in this entire process, that this was going to happen this morning. Cabinet is set to meet at 3 o'clock Eastern, so exactly an hour from now, where, of course, this will be the subject of conversation. And then we do anticipate that we will hear from the Prime Minister and Finance Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, at 6 o'clock Eastern this evening. They're going to announce Canada's response. We know from our previous reporting as well that response is already formulated to a certain degree, that they will announce immediate tariffs, counter tariffs on something like 10 consumer things like orange juice from Florida, Kentucky bourbon, but that there are two other tranches of more substantial counter tariffs that they will do a short, quick kind of 2-week consultation on, one worth $37 billion, another worth $110 million. And then those counter tariffs would be ready to launch after that consultation period. So that part is already in play. How much further the government is prepared to go beyond that, because this is nearly worst case scenario, will be the subject of a number of questions, I imagine, directed to the Prime Minister and his Finance Minister this evening.
So this has been the source of a lot of anxiety here in Canada. When can we expect to know more?
Well, I think certainly when we hear from the Prime Minister tonight, but this is pretty explicit, right? We know when now and we know what. So the threat had been 25% across the board. It looks like energy is getting somewhat of an exemption from that, at least the full breadth of it at 10%. But even a 10% on tax, which is what these are, right? This is just taxes that the president is applying to Canadian goods coming into the United States. Even a 10% increase will have a turnaround impact or a knock-on impact on the prices that Americans pay, for example, at the pumps. I think the other interesting thing that I take from this is that it is so centered on fentanyl, A, but B, the border. I mean, in one world, that's sort of reason for a bit of a silver lining, because we are doing stuff to address the issue at the border, both at the federal level and a number of provinces with their own resources as well. The downside is, it's kind of wild to think about how we're getting a 25% tariff, and so is Mexico. The amount of fentanyl that the U.S. is catching, according to their own numbers, coming into their country from our border is about 0.2% of what they're catching from at the southern border.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely insane. I mean, we're talking, I think it's like 19 kilograms or something like that of fentanyl from the Canadian border has been caught going into America. And when you look at the Mexican border, it's like 9,000 kilograms. So it's vastly different. And I don't know if it's just about that. I feel like it's a power or a display of dominance that Trump is doing. But never mind the fentanyl. We do have just like straight up a immigration problem. That's something that everybody can agree on. So much so that even the freaking Liberal federal government, I got a hair on my microphone, that even the federal Liberal government has come out and said, well, okay, we obviously have a lot of flaws in our immigration problem and our temporary visa programs and stuff like that. And so we're going to start to cut back on those. Like, that's a real thing. We have a tremendous amount of Saddam Hussein's, little terrorists running around our country because they've just been allowed to come in, either through asylum programs, either through just showing up, either through applying for immigration status. Like, it's absolutely insane. And those bunch of Saddam Hussein type of people, the bad terrorists, they are walking across the border into America, driving across the border through like Roxham Road and illegally entering, or they're just showing up in America and they're like, hey, we're here to commit some terrorist acts and we got in through Canada. Like, that's a real thing that's happened time and time again. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. And those are just the times that we've heard about it publicly. We don't know all the times that has happened that they've just really kept a media blackout on. So not good, like not good at all. But yes, we do have just a tiny, minuscule amount of fentanyl going in from Canada into America. But like any little bit is too much, right? So I get that, but it's not about the fentanyl. It's more about just everything, making sure our borders. Okay, you even have, like, this is what's so crazy, folks. You even have the CBSA. You have our border services have acknowledged that Canada only scans less than 1% of all the trains, all the transport goods that come in to Canada or leave Canada or whatever. We scan less than 1% of train stuff because we don't have enough x-rays, enough resources, enough people to properly do that job. So that on its own is like, okay, whoa, we have a huge issue at our border. Why are we underfunded? Where's all our money going to? Slava Ukraine. Why aren't we putting more money into our border? Slava Ukraine. Where is all of our funding? Slava Ukraini, right? You heard Trudeau bust that out at these G7 meetings and these NATO summit meetings. Why isn't he saying secure our borders instead of Slava Ukraini? Like, what a psychopath. No wonder we're in this predicament.
And yet the sort of tariff in a punitive way as it's being applied is being applied in an equal fashion to both our countries. So that's sort of another sort of confounding part of all of this, but it is what it is. It's certainly what he threatened. And again, that timeline, according to the two, I've now spoken to two sources, is headed for Tuesday for implementation. And
Vashi, how could Canada be affected by not only the tariffs, but also potential counter tariffs that we might be hearing about tonight?
Well, in a number of different ways. First, I should say it depends on how long those tariffs are in place and the substance of what the counter tariffs are, right? That will all inform the overall economic impact, but there's no getting away from it. I mean, even in the worst case scenario modeled out a few days ago by the Bank of Canada Governor, Tiff Macklem, there was an economic contraction of about 3%. 3%. That's a massive amount in just the first year. Private sector economists have talked about millions of Canadian jobs being at stake, again, depending on how long these tariffs actually do stick around. But the fact that they will apply across the board is certainly, like I said, a worst case scenario that economists.
6 months. 6 months, folks. That's how long Canada has under these tariffs before we are in a full-blown recession. And with the amount of money that Canada has already committed to all of these social programs, and that's not factoring in a COVID-style relief response package to combat the tariffs. So just with the tariffs as it stands right now today, there is 6 months. Even if we have retaliatory tariffs, that doesn't matter. There is 6 months. Start the clock. Put it in your calendar. 6 months before Canada enters a full-blown recession that is acknowledged by the mainstream media. I heard some jackass say it on the television today. I don't know what news station, I don't know who said it, but they said it and it was on a Canadian news station. It was probably on CBC. We might even pull that up if it's in some of these clips that I've got pulled up. That's insane. That doesn't factor in the billions of dollars or hundreds of millions, who am I kidding? Billions of dollars that Canada's going to put aside, take out of our taxpayers' pool to do this COVID-style relief package for those that are affected by tariffs, which is kind of all of us. It's like a crazy thing to say that we're going to give relief to those that are most affected. I identify as being affected. You identify as being affected. We're all technically affected. I know that some people are literally like super affected in Ontario, but you can't just set those parameters and discriminate. That's not progressive at all. So it's wild that like 6 months is best case before we're in a full blown recession. The way that the Liberals spend, the way that they're about to, throw us into even worse turmoil, I'm giving it 3 months, baby. We got 3 months at best. And that's without Trump escalating the retaliatory response to the retaliatory tariffs. Like, Trump issues tariffs. Canada is about to announce, in a few minutes, 20, 30 minutes, whenever it is. Trudeau keeps delaying it. We're just going to go live till he does it. Trump puts tariffs. Trudeau wants to do retaliatory response. Then our clock goes from 6 months down to 3 months. That's how long we have until a recession. And then if Trump does another retaliatory response because he said that he would, then we're going down from 3 months to like 1 month. So we have 30 days before Canada's in a full blown recession. Yay. Awesome. That's phenomenal, right?
And people in the federal government were working with. Perhaps, if it had been applied only to one sector, there are certainly ways to attempt to mitigate that damage. But as Tiff Macklem said, even monetary policy can only do so much if the entire economy is slapped with this level of tariff. And then when it comes to counter tariffs, that will also be tough, not just on the economy kind of in the aggregate, but particularly on consumers, right? We've finally seen the rate of inflation slow. It's increasing at a fraction of what it was a year ago or 2 years ago. And this will undoubtedly, if those counter tariffs are in place for a while, again, it's a tax that we have to add to stuff coming in here, which makes the stuff we buy even more expensive. So there's not just an impact on the size of the economy, the rate at which it grows or contracts, and the level of employment, but also on the prices that you and I and everyday Canadian consumers pay at the cash register, which means that it's almost impossible to overstate the economic impact of something like this, particularly if it's around for a while.
And Vashi, last I saw, Donald Trump doesn't have any public events scheduled for today. Apparently, he's off playing golf somewhere. Is that a surprise to you?
He's off playing golf somewhere. Who cares? He's the president. He's the world leader. Let him play golf. Maybe it's a half a glass of White Claw that's getting to me, but that was freaking weird.
Expect to hear anything from him anytime soon?
Your guess is as good as mine. Certainly, I have been watching the same thing. I mean, a Saturday Mar-a-Lago golf round is not out of the norm for the president, but I have yet to see anything on.
Why are they talking about his golf schedule?
I think it's interesting to note the degree to which this is not the number one story in the United States right now. It might become now that it will be official, but I think it shows you sort of how much stuff Donald Trump is doing that is controversial, that is drawing a reaction. And much of it in the United States domestically is garnering a bigger reaction than what's happening right now. And I think that's something I'll really be watching for over the coming days. A, what is the public reaction in the United States like? But B, where are our allies in Congress, in the Senate, at the state level? Who ends up speaking up for us and speaking out against the imposition of these tariffs, if anybody, because so far they've
probably AOC
been pretty silent, which is very different than that initial round of NAFTA negotiations with Trump a number of years ago, where we had a lot.
It's a pro-American move. Why would any governor, why would any senator, why would any American politician say that this is not in America's best interest? The way that the world is coming, you're either pro-America or you're against America. And Canada has a real chance right now at being pro-America. We have a real opportunity at working hand in hand with America to figure this out, and our politicians are dropping the ball. Like, I don't know how else to say it. There's this talk, this rhetoric of, well, we're just gonna sell our oil and our lumber to other countries in different parts of the world. We're gonna go to the eastern side of the world through our Pacific Ocean. We're gonna go left, and we're just gonna ship everything out of Vancouver, and we're just gonna go that way, right to Japan. So let me explain how the world works. If it's not for America, the world is gonna be in a total state of chaos. America owns the oceans. I know it's called international waters, but without America patrolling the oceans, up in the sky, and actually in the water, the trade that would happen around the world would be totally chaotic. If America just said, you know what? We're not going to patrol the oceans. You want to work around America and you want to sell your oil and lumber to other countries? Go right ahead. America doesn't care. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to start to see Canada send boats over to Japan to sell our oil to them. And then what's going to happen is you're going to see North Korea try and hijack our barrels of oil and intercept that shipment. You're going to see South Korea do that. You're going to see Russia do that. You're going to see China do that. It's going to be total chaos. Everybody needs to be able to work with America, or you're working against America. I'm not saying that we just bend over, but I am saying that we're not dealing with a small country like Luxembourg. We're dealing with the world's superpower. And if you ain't with America, you're against America. We're a small country. That's just the way she goes. You can be super patriotic and pro-Canada, woohoo. We don't have a choice. You may not like what I have to say, but Canada does not have a choice. We had a choice 40 years ago. We had a choice to be a self-sufficient country that didn't rely too much on other people, especially America. And we chose the wrong path. Blame your parents, blame your grandparents, or if you're that old, blame yourself. But Canada needs America. I don't know how else to say that. Oh, my goodness. Let's see what these guys over here at CBC has to say about this.
I want to go back to David Cochrane now, who's got a bit of news. David.
Yeah, Rosie, I wish it was good news, but I don't know if this is a good news day. What I'm being told by sources who are aware of what was communicated to the Canadian government today from the United States, it wasn't just the tariffs, it wasn't just the ultimatum on fentanyl. There was also a warning that if Canada retaliates, the tariffs will increase.
Yep.
So there is a preemptive strike, or at least in terms of a message to the Canadian government, that if it retaliates with the targeted tariffs that it has been planning to, then the percentages will go up. This is something the president said. Remember when we were watching the video of him speaking in the Oval Office yesterday, he says the tariffs may go up, maybe not. He sort of floated it out there. Well, it's been communicated, I'm told, to the Canadian government that if there is a retaliation of any kind, then the U.S. will increase its trade action against this country. Now, that puts them in a very difficult position. I mean, what choice do you have but to retaliate? But you can see there the extent that the Trump administration, at least verbally, is willing to go to get whatever it is that it wants out of this. If it truly is just about fentanyl or the reshaping of North American manufacturing and trade arrangements and global trade in general, but certainly to hit your biggest customer and most reliable trading partner with a tariff like this over 19 kilograms of fentanyl as the stated reason, and threaten to go even higher.
Yeah, 19, like I said.
To defend yourself and pick up for your own economy is the situation that we're in. The Prime Minister is going to meet with the premiers at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, as you just said. The expectation is we may hear from the Prime Minister at around 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The expectations, though, keep sliding on things. We had been hearing 2 o'clock. We'd hear from the President on what they're doing. That's now sliding until later in the day. And of course, everything we are hearing and everything that has been communicated to Canada right now is just in verbal form. And they are not going to say anything publicly and officially until they see it in written form and with the legal weight of whatever action the president is taking behind it.
What is when you are faced with that kind of, I'm not even sure what to call it, I guess it's a threat. When you're faced with that kind of threat, what is the government thinking? Because the idea that we could not...
When you're faced with that kind of threat, what's the government thinking? Well, that's a great question. Our entire government, every single politician is trying to pick a fight with Donald Trump, and everyone is saying we need to fight back. Specifically going to something that happened 20 minutes ago, hot off the press. Chrystia Freeland just released a new statement, and here's what she said. Here's Chrystia Freeland's page. She said, Canada won't back down to Donald Trump. These tariffs harm the world's most prosperous trading relationship and one of the great historic friendships between nations. When it came to fighting for our country, previous generations of Canadians did not back down. We won't either. And I'm sorry to say, Chrystia, and to all politicians, but we don't stand a chance. We are 1 month away. 1 month, 30 days away from going into a recession. Should everything play out the way I said it should, or likely will play out, 10, 15 minutes ago. I don't understand this egotistical approach. It's not bending over to do the things that benefit our country that Trump is saying. Canada has been taking advantage of America for far too long. We have their military's protection. We border America. Nobody's coming to get us. Russia's not touching us. China's not touching us. Nobody's touching us because we border the world's superpower. And we have taken advantage of that. Yes, we have good trade deals. We sell oil and gas to them at a subsidized fee. Sure. But just because we're neighbors, just because we've had a long-term existing relationship, doesn't mean that America is getting the best deal. And that's something that these politicians in Canada aren't understanding. Oh, but we've been fine. We've been fine for so long. Trump doesn't care about your feelings. It's facts over feelings. He's a businessman. What the hell did you think was going to happen? You think he was just going to review everything and see that Canada is literally taking advantage of America and say, well, we're neighbors, so I guess it is what it is, Canada. Good job. We'll review it later on, but for now you're safe. No, man, he's making an example of us. Yeah, it sucks. Yes, it sucks. Absolutely, it sucks. I'm not happy with this. It's absolutely embarrassing. Every country around the world is making fun of Canada. Every nation, every celebrity is like, oh my God, this is embarrassing for Canada. It absolutely is. And sometimes you just have to take the embarrassment and move the fuck on. I'm sorry to swear. I know some people watch this on their television. They got their family and friends around, but I can't help myself. All right? I can't help myself. Sometimes you just have to take the L and move the hell on. And Trudeau's not understanding this. Freeland's not understanding this. Jagmeet's not understanding this. Poilievre isn't understanding this. Let's continue with this clip, shall we?
Respond, I think, is unimaginable. Although you and I discussed whether it would be as huge as what the president is doing. But when you are faced with a threat of a counter to your counter, what is the thinking inside the government right now about that?
I don't know, to be honest with you, Rosie,
Yeah.
and that they're kind of not really willing to engage in the thought process until they know for sure what's going on. But I think they'll get some clarity on the appetite of how to respond from the premiers when they meet with them at 4:00. I think there is going to be an appetite by Canadians to have some sort of a response rather than just take it and lying down. But how far you go in terms of
how is it taking it lying down? He's asking Canada, to work on our problems. It betters our country. That's like saying you and me are neighbors and we live in a strata and I'm on the board of the strata and I say, hey, Jim, hey, whatever your name is, you're part of the strata, you pay the fees. Your lawn is overgrown, man. You have to mow it or else we might have to fine you. and then you refuse to mow your lawn. What the hell do you think is going to happen? You're going to get fined, and then you come at me saying, oh my God, well, I'm going to fine you. I'm going to sue you for trying to get me to mow my lawn. It's your lawn, bro. It's your lawn. What are you doing? Mow your lawn. Take care of your grass. Take care of your country. Like, I don't understand, man. I don't understand what the hell's going on with our politicians and even our media. We take it lying down and bend over. It's our border. God damn, dude. It's our border. What do you mean take it lying down?
The damage you inflict on your own economy by retaliating to this and then knowing that an act, because there's been such a lack of specifics and a lack of response from the federal government to this point. You know, the criticism is, why aren't you out there? Why aren't you standing up for Canada the way Doug Ford is doing and Daniel Smith is doing, depending on who you think is the right path? It's precisely because they didn't want to provoke something until they had to, right? And that there's, by doing something, you know, for domestic political concerns and, you know, to satisfy the media cycle would antagonize the president or the people around him to you know, move the goalposts or raise the stakes yet again. So they've avoided it, and now you have to calibrate again with this threat that, like, this is a catastrophic assault on the Canadian economy with the threat to make it more so. And I just don't know if there's anything in the trade relations playbook that contemplates the President of the United States being this manifestly unreasonable and threatening to the Canadian economy. I mean, how do you prepare for something like this? So, you know, they've got their border plan. They've got, you know, people in the United States, you know, Susan Collins of Maine, Kevin Kramer of North.
It doesn't matter if President Trump is breaking rules. It doesn't matter if he's breaking a trade agreement. It doesn't matter. It's America. He will do what he wants. America will do what they want. And there is no other country that is more patriotic than America. American senators, American mayors, American governors are going, don't mess with America. Right now, America is going back to peak patriotism and creating this divisiveness that our politicians and our media are doing is absolutely insane. We are loved by Americans when you go to travel in America, when you stay at a hotel, when you go anywhere in America, you meet Americans abroad. Americans like, hey, Canada, our neighbor, man, that's awesome. You ever been to like Detroit or something? That's real close to the border. Right? Like we always get along with America. We should absolutely be looking at only getting along with America right now. And anything otherwise is mental.
North Dakota, Rand Paul of Kentucky, you know, coming out against tariffs or speaking in favor of Canada's position that we're too dependent on each other and it'll hurt everybody and this is pointless, and saying don't do this. But, you know, if Donald Trump, who is at Mar-a-Lago today, is so intent on upending this trade relationship for this singular purpose of dealing with the fentanyl flows, and is willing to go even higher should Canada stand up for itself, it's an impossible situation for a prime minister and a government to be in, just given the competitive disadvantage you have as a country of 40 million people going up against the most powerful economy in the history of the world.
Dude, it's so bad. Okay. Do you remember not too long ago, you had the governor of Alberta, or not Alberta, for crying out loud. You had the governor of Texas had a public bet with the premier of Alberta. It was the governor of Texas and Danielle Smith. They had a public bet on, I think it had something to do with hockey, right? The Oilers versus, Texas or something like that. I'm pretty sure. I'm butchering it, but hopefully you get the idea. And the loser had to admit that the winner's stake was better than the other. And Texas lost. They had to admit that Alberta's stakes are very good and possibly better than Texas. It was just a friendly public bet between two leaders, right? One of a province, one of a state, right? Well, that same dude, if I'm not mistaken, that same governor of Texas just came out and said, careful, Trudeau, the Texas economy is larger than Canada's. A singular state's economy is larger than all of Canada's, and we are not afraid to use it. as Pierre Poilievre and other politicians have self-admitted, Canada is poorer than Alabama, one of America's poorest states. We can't afford to mess around. You know that saying, FAFO, F around and find out? We're like very quickly going through the F around, and we're about to find out. We found out this morning with Trump's, hey, here's the signature. There's your tariffs, Canada. And we're about to find out again. It's FAFO, fo, until these Canadian politicians and media wake up. It's not good. It's not good. We're literally going up against superpowers, man. This is whack.
Okay, David, stay right there. I'm going to go back to Anis Hadari, who has some thoughts about the counter-tariff measures. Anis, if you want to weigh in there. David and I were talking earlier in conversations that I've had in government. You know, there is obviously a necessity to standing up to the United States, to pushing back in some way, but there is also deep concern.
No, there is not. There absolutely is not, Mrs. Peppa Pig. No, there is not a need at all to stand up and show a response to America when they're asking us to clean our house. Hey, Canada, your house is dirty and it's making our house a little bit filthier. We don't like that. Clean it up or you're going to get fined. We haven't cleaned it up. We've just been talking about how we're going to sue them. And now we're in the faux stage. We're in the find out stage.
Of the impact of massive counter tariffs on Canadians and the Canadian economy. And so how do you balance those things in terms of the economic impact?
Well, that's really one of the troubles with counter tariffs. It's not just that is a political weapon that can be used against the United States. Counter tariffs would affect not just Canadian businesses, but Canadian consumers, and almost right away. Things like produce, furniture, electronics would all go up in price because those counter tariffs would be paid by the Canadian side. And to be honest with you, while a lot of what we send into the United States...
Okay, my bad, folks. I watch so many kid shows with my daughter, so all of my clapbacks have to do with like kid shows. So yes, I did just indeed call her Ms. Peppa Pig. And in my mind, it sounded way cooler than how it sounded. My bad.
States is critical to our economy. There are many individual American industries that will rely on selling to Canadians, but as a percentage of American trade, if Canadian counter tariffs are slapped, there are many aspects of the American economy that would, I don't want to say shrug it off, it would be hard for them, but the impact is not commensurate back and forth, and Canadian consumers would really feel counter tariffs. The idea that the Trump administration would threaten Canada with further U.S. tariffs if Canada imposes counter tariffs, the balance between the two isn't equal there in terms of dollar value. But it's really hard to say what else Canada could do other than trying to develop trade relationships elsewhere if it can't use counter tariffs as a retaliatory strike.
Okay, Anissa, I will come back to you. I don't know if Katie Simpson is there. Yeah, okay, great. Katie, I don't know if you have information.
So the selling of goods elsewhere isn't going to work because America runs the world. America runs the seas, and Canada doesn't have the resources to ship a lot of goods across the world and then also protect it. We don't have the resources to do that. So if that were the case, most of the stuff that we send will likely be intercepted because America will make it very clear, hey, that ship right there, Canada's ship, yeah, we're not protecting them. Whatever happens, that's on their watch. He will absolutely come out and say that. Will it endanger the lives of the people that are on that ship? I don't know. Possibly, but it's not, this isn't good. Like, we can't just cut around America the way that they make it seem. It's not that simple. It's not that simple at all.
I'll go over to you and then I'll get some of your thoughts about what we've been talking about here.
No, it's about the retaliation point. There was a moment yesterday in the White House briefing that was really telling, that actually now that I think about it in context of that latest information that David has, it really stands out. So the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, she was asked by a reporter what Donald Trump's response was. Should Justin Trudeau go ahead with Canada's retaliation plan? It was specifically mentioned Justin Trudeau. And the way she responded was she described Justin Trudeau saying Canada would retaliate as an outrageous remark, saying that he should get on the phone with Donald Trump before pushing out outrageous remarks to the media. So now to hear that statement from that news conference at that time, and then you translate it to, okay, you're going to retaliate. Okay, then we're just going to put the tariffs up higher. It now points to that is the attitude coming from the White House in this moment. And it really sort of sets the tone here for just how sour this relationship is about to become. The Prime Minister's office has really tried to pride itself on trying to really do the deep outreach, along with the Canadian ambassador down here in the United States, Kirsten Hillman. They do deep, robust outreach to anyone and everyone within Donald Trump's orbit to really push Canada's case, because this is, of course, such a vital this is vital to Canada's economy. And we've talked about the consequences, what they could be and what it could look like come Tuesday. But the way that they have really tried to work to keep things polite, cordial, friendly, enthusiastic. And then to hear that tone from the White House press secretary, it really sets things on a different course now to hear as well that it's been expressed to them that if you retaliate, the tariffs go up.
Well, it also, I guess, Katie, I think a fair question to ask is whether anything the Canadian government has done has helped, whether it has mattered at all.
No, it hasn't mattered at all. There's nothing that they've done right now other than talk absolute shit. They haven't done a single thing that's moved us in the positive direction. Some people right now are weeding through. Some people right now are weeding through a little bit, and you're starting to see who the real politicians are and who the real leaders are. But just so you have an idea of how bad it is, this just happened moments ago. For the first time ever, Canadians are booing the American national anthem at a hockey game. Let's take a look. Not good, folks. Canada and America has always had very, very good relations. This is going to get worse, and it's going to get ugly. And it's not just about politics. It's going to be people. People are going to retaliate on other people. It starts with simple stuff like that. Booing American things, trashing American goods, talking smack. And well, it's beyond talking now. It's actual action, right? And then it could escalate, and nobody wants that. This isn't good. But the Premier of Saskatchewan, Scott Moe, just came out and said this. The decision by President Trump to impose tariffs on all Canadian products is disappointing and will damage both our country's economies, workers, and consumers. We agree that we need to have strong, secure borders. The U.S. has been clear in this priority. Saskatchewan has been equally clear about efforts to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants. We have enhanced our provincial border security measures. Hey, step in the right direction. Good job. Good job, Mr. Moe. Saskatchewan is calling on the federal government to take all necessary steps to strengthen border security and have fentanyl removed from our communities in Canada and the United States. Holy crap, I'm getting shivers. This is awesome. This is what we need. Okay. I'm calling on the federal government to strengthen the Criminal Code of Canada to toughen penalties for drug offenses, specifically fentanyl. As I have said, I support very targeted and specific retaliatory measures to initial tariffs. However, this should never be the long-term answer. Man, I wish he just didn't say that. I wish he didn't say that part. Let's just erase that part because everything else is pretty freaking good. Saskatchewan, at least he admits so. However, this should never be the long-term answer. At least he admits that. At least he admits that. So that's a step in the right direction, right? I don't agree with the messaging. I don't agree with him saying that I support very targeted retaliatory measures. I don't agree with that. However, At least he's saying better things than what the Liberals are. So that's at least good. Saskatchewan's exports are crucial to supporting food and energy security across North America and around the world. We will also be working to ensure diversification of Saskatchewan markets for our goods. We will continue to work with all Saskatchewan businesses and other governments to find common ground on this important issue to ensure that damaging tariffs are removed as quickly as possible. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang. That's how you do it. Make absolutely no mistake. These tariffs will cost American and Canadian families more. This will weaken the highly integrated North American economy, which benefits our nations that may not be our allies. Tariffs are harmful to all of us in North America. So that's decent. Out of most of the things that people have said, that's probably the better one. I mean, that's up there with Danielle Smith. I'd say so far, not Danielle Smith's response. I didn't read through all of Danielle Smith's response today. But so far, that's up there. That's definitely a top contender. Who's not a contender is this schmuck right here, David Eby. So Eby says that he's shutting down liquor purchases from Republican red states only. He's actually making it illegal to sell liquor in British Columbia that's from American red states.
We support a strong Team Canada approach to stand up to Donald Trump. For our first of many steps, effective today, I have directed BC liquor sales to immediately stop buying American liquor from red states.
I am forcing liquor stores to stop buying American liquor from red states. It's now illegal to sell liquor from red states in BC. You can't make this up, folks. You can't make this up. And then here's what Doug Ford did. He went on to CNN. I don't know why. Why are you going on CNN, bro? Who are you talking to? Americans? He went on CNN and, let's see what he has to say. We're just going to take a brief look at what he has to say here.
Tariffs on some of America's biggest trading partners, 25% tariffs on goods coming in from U.S. and from Canada, 10% on Canadian energy, and an additional 10% on Chinese imports. Joining us now, the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. Thank you so much for being here with us. These tariffs, brand new, just signed within the last hour. I first just want your initial reaction because you have said you plan to rain down economic punishment on America in response to these. What do you think comes next?
Well, first of all, Jessica, I just want to send our prayers and thoughts to the family that lost loved ones in the aviation accident. It's a tragedy. As for the tariffs, it was unjustified. It's unfair, and frankly, it was illegal, breaking a deal that we had with the USMCA deal, and it's disappointing. Canada and Canadians love the U.S. I love the U.S. I love the American people. We're your closest ally and trading partner, your largest export destination in the entire world. This is going to hurt Americans. It's going to hurt Canadians. We're going to see inflation happen down in the U.S. and in Canada, and it's unjustified.
And so what steps will Canada take next? I mean, we are expecting to hear from your prime minister. He was supposed to speak within the hour. Obviously, we have been...
So this guy is nuts. You got David Eby, who's done a super wacko thing. All right, David Eby cut off, well, now officially, he cut off liquor sales from American red states, which is bizarre. But this douche magoosh on CNN wants to cut off power to the state of Michigan and like more East Coast states. Like that, I don't agree with that. That hurts people. You think that America is just going to sit there and say, oh, okay, well, you cut off our power. We hit you with tariffs. I guess we're good, folks. We're going to wrap it up, and I guess we're good, right? Or do you think it's going to piss him off and he's going to go above and beyond what he's already stated he would do, which is increase the tariffs to an unknown amount of number, 50, 75, 100, 200%. Who knows? It'll probably be 150%. or something crazy like that. It'll probably be over 100%. Trump's retaliatory response.
Monitoring the NTSB update. But what do you think happens? What does Canada do now?
Well, we'll have retaliatory measures. It's unfortunate. We don't want to do it. We'd rather have a strong trading partner with the U.S., build an AMCAN fortress. We want to ship down more products, more critical minerals, more oil. That's what we want to do. But I can assure you what President Trump underestimates, the resilience of the Canadian people, the strength of the Canadian people. No matter what political stripe you come from in Canada, we're united. We're a united country, and we're a proud country.
And when you say retaliatory measures, is that retaliatory tariffs, you believe?
Yes, there'll be retaliatory tariffs, and the Prime Minister will announce that shortly.
And is there any sense, would you have any more details on those before I move on from that?
I'll leave that up to the Prime Minister.
Oh my God.
But what I can tell you, we're the number one export destination for 28 states across the country. Ontario alone, we're the number one trading partner, number one customer per se for 17 states, and number two to 11 others. We do $500 billion of trade on both sides of the border, split equally down the center. And
yeah, but that's not the point. It's that the point is that we've been taking advantage of them. We haven't cleaned up our act. First of all, Dougie Boy here, all right, isn't he a conservative? Isn't he part of the Conservative Ontario Party? Right? This doesn't make any sense. Why is he going on a Democratic radical left media outlet like CNN? I know he's not like a true conservative, but I don't think he's a liberal party. I think he's a conservative. This is insane. Why didn't you go on like Fox News or something? Or why are you on American media? Why aren't you talking to CBC, CTV, Global News? Why the hell are you going on? This is a freaking Trudeau and Carney approach. Why is he doing that? It's so weird, man. So freaking weird.
9 million Americans wake up every morning, Jessica, to produce products for Ontario alone, not to mention the rest of the country. And what's really disturbing when President Trump is using fentanyl as a reason, lumping us in with Mexico and China.
That's a little weird.
The figures from
19 kilograms versus 9,000.
There's over 9,600 kilos coming fentanyl coming from Mexico. Ours is 19 kilos, which is too much, which is 0.001% of fentanyl compared to Mexico coming into the U.S., compared to over 25,000 kilos of narcotics, be it heroin or cocaine, opioids, coming from the U.S. into Canada. We have a strong relationship with the U.S. Customs.
Then why didn't Canada do anything under Biden? You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't Canada say, hey, Biden, get your stuff together, man. Come on, Sleepy Joe, wake up. Come on, Sleepy Joe. I know your son uses these, and I know he would love to get his hands on all these things. But come on, buddy, time to wake up, or we're gonna have to do something. Why not get on the media and embarrass Joe Biden and do that? What the hell is Joe Biden going to do? Well, we're going to hit you with tariffs. No, he's not, right? You hit him. Wow, but you lost your chance. You didn't say anything. This is the first time that I hear exactly how many narcotics, what the actual kilogram is, right? He said 25,000 pounds or 25,000 kilograms or 2,500. Sorry. I mean, this is wild. Now they're bitching about the fact that Trump wants to make America good, make America better without the effects of other countries dumping their crap onto American soil. Beats me, man. Beats me.
Our customs officers work collaboratively with them, working with the DEA. Our RCMP is working collaboratively. I can tell the American people, Canada is not the problem. The problem is the Mexican border and China. That's where the problem is.
And do you have any sense yet of timing? Do you, as a member of the Canadian government, know when the U.S. tariffs on Canadian products will take place, will go into action?
Well, what I understand, what I've heard, that they're going to be very soon, almost immediate, And why President Trump would want to attack his largest customer per se, largest trading partner, closest ally, that this goes back to all the way back to 1867. We have stood shoulder to shoulder with Americans during World War I, World War II, 9/11. We sent our troops over to stand shoulder to shoulder.
We did.
With American troops. We lost soldiers.
Yes, we've lost soldiers. We've shed blood. We've lost people. We have helped America. We have helped America to every capacity. All the time, right? They have wildfires, we help them. They have issues with 9/11. We grounded some of the planes here. We billeted people. We post them in hotels. People took them into their home, whatever it was. We've always been there for America. Yes, and I understand that it's painful that these tariffs, it feels like we're being blindsided. But again, what the hell did you expect Trump would do? He warned Canada. He warned everybody that this was going to happen. He gave us time to fix it. We've had over 30 days, more than that possibly, to fix it. And what have these politicians in Canada done? They've been talking smack, thinking it's a bluff, and figuring out ways to retaliate against Supreme Leader Trump. I don't think that's been a good approach. I feel like we had enough time to take action and just throw $50 million at the border. Just get it done. Who cares? Throw 150, throw $200 million at the border. I don't even care. Put Canadians there as volunteers and give them a helmet and give them a vest and say that they're Canadian Border Patrol. It doesn't even matter. Just get it done for the optics to satisfy America, to avoid the tariffs. That would be a real Canada first move and a Team Canada approach, because then we wouldn't be hit with these tariffs and we wouldn't have to argue with a trade war. We wouldn't have to do all of this nonsense. Yeah, it would have been embarrassing. Yes, it would have cost money, but it would have cost substantially less money than what we're about to feel. Because in a few minutes, you have Dictator Trudeau who's going to address the country. The podium is set there. His juice box water bottle thingy is sitting there in front of him. And we are going to hear him say what the hell is happening. He is going to hit us with a big shocker of a retaliatory response. Here's the podium, folks. We're waiting for him. We're live. We're absolutely waiting for him. We can sit here and we can watch. We can wait. We can listen to the crowd. Any moment now, Trudeau's going to walk out. You can see the top of the water right there. Right there. That's the water. The juice box water bottle thingy. This is just a shame. It's an absolute shame. So I'd recommend anyone who needs to get settled in, I know it's late, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a refreshment, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do. But any minute now, technically in the next 2 minutes, we should see Justin Trudeau walk into that podium. And you know what's frustrating? Is that this guy not too long ago said that he would resign. He said that he would resign, man. He said that he would resign, and he's still here making all these decisions. He's still calling all the shots. It's so weird. It's so weird. I've never seen anything like it. We're just waiting. I've got a White Claw that was made somewhere in America. I don't know if it was a red state, but I'm in BC and it's illegal. There you go, David Eby. I'm drinking illegal goods. I'm drinking illegal goods, David Eby. So they're doing the final checks, making sure everything's good. Oh, yeah, yeah. We have a minute here. I'm going to pull up a clip. So this just happened a few minutes ago while they were setting up all the cameras and stuff like that. They were setting up all the cameras, and you can see this guy right here. This is so funny. This guy right here is right behind the podium. All right. That's right to the left of the podium. And he's sitting there swinging his feet. What the heck is this? This is the craziest news that Canada's ever encountered. This like photographer or someone who works for, the government or whatever is swinging his feet like he's Kevin Hart sitting in a stool doing stand up. Oh my goodness. We're not a serious country. We're not a serious country. Our politicians make us not a serious country. That's so funny. Swinging his feet, dude. Oh, that's good stuff. They did it inside so his papers wouldn't fly away this time. What color did he call? Wasn't that so funny when he stepped out of the Rideau cottage? He stepped out of the Rideau cottage. They muted the mic, by the way. They muted the audio. He stepped out of Rideau cottage on his resignation day, and he walks up to the podium. His freaking papers fly around. Oh non, les papiers. Oh non, les papiers. I'm just going to go right off the dome. I'm going to speak off the dome. I'm not a quitter, but I'm resigning. Oh, man. That's good stuff. So for those that haven't voted, I did put in the live chat, I did put a poll down. And it says, do you want to become America's 51st state? Now, of course, this isn't proprietary to Canadians. I'm sure there's Americans watching who voted on this. But so far, there's 4,600 votes, and 55% of it say yes. A lot of people want Canada to become America's 51st state. And there's probably Americans that voted. There are probably Americans that said, yeah, come on, Canada, join us, right? Or they said, nah, stay away. I have no idea. I think most Americans are pro-Canada merging with America, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to ask you guys down in the live chat right now. We got a little bit of time. Before the papiers fly away again. Let me know down in the comments right now. Type 51. Let's see if there's a massive train of 51 comments. If you want Canada to be absorbed by America, just put a 5-1 down in the comments. Put a 5-1 down in the comments if you want to see Canada be absorbed by America. And we'll see how popular that idea is within tonight's viewers. I'm just saying, when I do these things on my House of Canada channel during question period, the chat goes bananas. Here we go, folks.
Bonsoir. Good evening. Today, the United States informed us they will be imposing 25% tariffs.
Dude's so nervous, can't even talk.
To the United States and 10% on Canadian energy. A decision that, should they elect to proceed with, should take effect on Tuesday, February 4th. Cette décision met en péril une relation économique historique. Une relation qui a été la source de tellement de richesse, de prospérité et de possibilités des deux côtés de la frontière. Tonight, first, I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people.
Uh-oh, he's about to threaten Americans.
Consistently said, tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum. They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago.
He doesn't care about that.
But it doesn't have to be this way. As President John F. Kennedy said many years ago, geography has made us neighbors, history has made us friends, economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies. That rang true for many decades prior to President Kennedy's time in office and in the decades since. From the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of the Korean Peninsula, from the fields of Flanders to the streets of Kandahar, we have fought and died alongside you.
This literally means nothing right now
Darkest hours.
to Americans.
During the Iranian hostage crisis, those 444 days we worked around the clock from our embassy to get your innocent compatriots home. During the summer of 2005, when Hurricane Katrina ravaged your great city of New Orleans, or mere weeks ago, when we sent water bombers to tackle the wildfires in California. During the day the world stood still, September 11th, 2001, when we provided refuge to stranded passengers and planes, we were always there, standing with you, grieving with you, the American people. Together, we've built the most successful economic, military, and security partnership the world has ever seen. A relationship that has been the envy of the world. Yes, we've had our differences in the past, but we've always found a way to get past them. As I've said before, if President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us. Canada has critical minerals, reliable and affordable energy, stable democratic institutions, shared values, and the natural resources you need. Canada has the ingredients necessary to build a booming and secure partnership for the North American economy, and we stand at the ready to work together. Let's take a moment to talk about our shared border. Our border is already safe and secure, but there's always more work to do. Less than 1% of fentanyl, less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States come from Canada. But hearing concerns from both Canadians and Americans, including the American president himself, we're taking action. We launched a $1.3 billion border plan that is already showing results, because we too are devastated by the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has torn apart communities and caused so much pain and torment for countless families across Canada, just like in the United States. A drug that we too want to see wiped from the face of this earth. A drug whose traffickers must be punished. As neighbors, we must work collaboratively to fix this. Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together. Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs.
Oh my God.
$155 billion worth of American goods.
Holy shit.
This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Ce soir, j'annonce la réplique du Canada. Des tarifs douaniers de 25% sur 150
We knew it was coming.
milliards de dollars de marché.
We knew it was coming, but it doesn't make hearing it any better.
30 milliards de dollars de produits américains vont être touchés par ces tarifs. Et dans 21 jours, pour donner le temps aux compagnies canadiennes de trouver des options alternatives, ce sera le cas pour 125 milliards de dollars de marchandises de plus. Like the American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships. We will stand strong for Canada. We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world. With all that said, I also want to speak directly to Canadians in this moment.
No, I don't want to hear from you.
Many of you are anxious.
Oh, no.
I want you to know we are all in this together.
No, don't quote High School Musical.
Canadian businesses, Canadian organized labor, Canadian civil society, Canada's premiers, and tens of millions of Canadians from coast to coast to coast are aligned and united.
No, we're not.
This is Team Canada.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Plus tôt aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé avec les premiers ministres de toutes nos provinces et territoires.
Oh, my God.
On est unis et solidaires. Ils ont tous appuyé notre approche. On est aussi alignés pour faire tomber les obstacles qui freinent le commerce entre nos provinces et territoires et rendre ça plus facile pour les consommateurs de choisir des produits de chez nous.
We need to drop French as a language and we need to adopt American.
Je me suis entretenu
We'll
avec
be an English speaking and American speaking country.
notre autre partenaire nord-américain qui a lui aussi été la cible de tarifs douaniers aujourd'hui. On s'est engagé à travailler ensemble pour y faire face.
They're going to shut the power off, aren't they?
Il s'agit d'une menace qui vise l'ensemble du pays. Et ça m'a fait chaud au cœur de voir autant de nos leaders répondre à l'appel et s'engager pour qu'aucun Canadien ne soit laissé pour compte. Notre gouvernement va être là pour les Canadiens. On va être là pour vous. Mais en même temps, j'ai quelque chose à vous demander. Je vous demande d'être solidaires les uns des autres. Beaucoup d'entre nous vont être affectés par tout ça et vont vivre des moments difficiles. Je vous demande d'être là les uns pour les autres, d'être là
Bro, we're in a trade war with America.
patriotes. D'un océan à l'autre,
This means that Canadian people
très différents.
and American people
Différentes langues, on a
are now going to start hating each other.
différentes opinions, de différentes idées.
That's how this goes.
Mais quand on reste unis, on puise notre force dans cette différence. And now is also the time to choose Canada. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or going Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations
We're not supposed to drive.
to offer.
You told us not to drive our car.
Des produits d'ici,
He told us not to drive his car. Our car because we're burning the earth.
appuyer nos producteurs agricoles, nos manufacturiers, nos
What the
travailleurs,
fuck is this guy's problem?
entrepreneurs, nos artistes.
6 months ago, they said don't
All of
drive.
these things, or finding your own way to stand up for Canada. In this moment, we must pull together because we love this country. We pride ourselves on braving the cold during the long winter months.
No.
We don't like to beat our chests, but we're always out there, waving the maple leaf loudly and proudly to celebrate an Olympic gold medal. On a notre propre identité, notre propre histoire et nos propres valeurs. Les Canadiens sont accueillants, ouverts, novateurs, ambitieux. On préfère régler nos disputes avec diplomatie, mais on est prêt à se battre quand c'est nécessaire. Canada is home to bountiful resources, breathtaking beauty, and a proud people who've come from every corner of the globe to forge a nation with a unique identity worth embracing and celebrating. We don't pretend to be perfect, but Canada is the best country on earth. There's nowhere else that I and our 41 million strong family would rather be, and we will get through this challenge, just as we've done countless times before, together. Thank you. Merci.
Fuck you.
Vive le Canada.
Fuck you.
All right, so we'll take 20 minutes of questions, 20 minutes de questions. One question, one follow-up, une question, un suivi. Merci.
Bonsoir, Monsieur le Premier ministre, Raymond Filion de TVA. Est-ce que vous avez parlé ou tenté de parler avec le président Trump aujourd'hui ou dans les derniers jours?
No,
Depuis l'inauguration que j'essaie de rejoindre le président.
He hasn't spoken to Trump since inauguration.
It's been since the inauguration that I've been reaching out to speak with Donald Trump. I hope to speak with him sometime soon.
Bro, this guy is mental.
Décret qui
He's
a signé aujourd'hui, Monsieur
a psychopath.
le Canada, d'augmenter encore plus les tarifs s'il y a des mesures de rétorsion. Vous annoncez des mesures de rétorsion ce soir. Certains vont se demander, est-ce que c'est pas risqué? Est-ce que ça risque pas d'envenimer la situation?
On va toujours faire ce qui est nécessaire pour défendre les Canadiens, défendre nos intérêts. On est en train de répondre avec un ensemble de mesures fortes mais appropriées et on va continuer d'être là pour défendre le Canada, les Canadiens et notre avenir.
Bonsoir, M. Trudeau. Vous avez mentionné que vous envisagiez d'autres mesures qui ne sont pas
TVA asked him if he spoke to Trump
élaborées.
or tried, and he says he's been trying to get a hold of him, but hasn't gotten an answer. Trump's leaving him on ghost, on red.
On peut entreprendre en tant que pays. On est en train de parler avec les provinces et territoires sur certains éléments dans leur région, leur juridiction. On a aussi des mesures comme ce que les provinces sont en train d'annoncer, d'enlever l'alcool et les spiritueux et les vins américains de leur...
I'm drinking all my American booze tonight.
Il y a des mesures au niveau de l'approvisionnement municipal, provincial et même fédéral où on peut moins acheter des Américains. Le choix des Canadiens d'acheter des produits canadiens, de choisir des biens et des services du Canada et non américains, ça fait tout partie de notre réponse collective.
Mais juste pour précision, est-ce qu'il est question peut-être de couper l'approvisionnement en énergie? Mais la deuxième question, c'était davantage sur le décret des Américains. Il n'est pas question là-dedans, il est question de la frontière, mais pas de la relation commerciale. Est-ce que c'est parce qu'il faut s'attendre à une deuxième vague de tarifs?
Tout d'abord, ce qui est important quand on va regarder différentes façons de répondre ou de mettre encore plus de pression.
They're going to switch to English here soon. We don't know where the translator is.
Sur les mesures qui sont de l'avant, on va s'assurer qu'il n'y ait aucune région du pays, aucune industrie qui...
I speak French, but I'm 2 white claws in. I don't speak that fast.
...lourd fardeau que
Anymore.
d'autres régions. On sait qu'il y a certaines industries, dont l'industrie pétrolière, qui ont un grand impact aux États-Unis, mais on va s'assurer que toute réponse qu'on va faire va être équitable à travers le pays, parce qu'on ne veut pas que ce soit seulement une région ou une partie du pays qui paye le plus pour défendre tous les Canadiens. Et c'est quelque chose, un principe sur lequel tous les premiers ministres sont d'accord.
Est-ce qu'on peut s'attendre à une deuxième vague? C'était ça aussi la question.
Sur l'enjeu une deuxième vague
Yo, this guy is supposed to be like 30 days away
Pas question de la relation commerciale.
from not being prime minister anymore, and he's doing this.
Aujourd'hui, sont en
Oh my God.
la préoccupation du président sur le fentanyl. La réalité, c'est que le Canada représente une infime partie du défi au niveau du fentanyl auquel les Américains font face, et on est prêt à travailler avec eux pour régler cet enjeu dans nos communautés comme dans la leur. En même temps, il y a une enquête sur nos relations commerciales qui est en cours dans le système américain, qui va aboutir le 1er avril, et à ce moment-là, ils vont prendre d'autres décisions. In regards to actions we might take in terms of responding to the American trade action, there are a number of different industries and regions of the country that can have greater leverage over the United States. One thinks of the oil industry, for example. What is extremely important for me, and I think for all the premiers, is that no one region of the country or one industry carries a larger burden than anyone else in standing up for Canada. We need to all be in this together. This only works if Canadians are fully united from coast to coast to coast to stand up for this extraordinary and beautiful country. And that's
We're not united.
As we look at different measures, including non-tariff measures that we might move forward on, we will not be moving forward on issues that further divide the country, which is why we're working with all premiers to look at different ways we can encourage the Americans to step back from these trade actions.
Bonjour, Christian Noël de Radio-Canada.
That's not going to happen.
Sur cette question-là, les tarifs sur le gaz naturel et le pétrole ne sont que de 10 % alors que pour le reste, c'est de 25 %, notamment parce que les États-Unis ont besoin de notre pétrole. Ils ont besoin de plein d'autres choses dans notre secteur énergétique. À quel endroit est-ce que vous êtes prêt à couper le robinet?
Tout d'abord, soulignons que oui, les Américains ont besoin de notre gaz et notre pétrole, ils ont besoin de nos minéraux critiques, mais ils ont aussi besoin de nos pièces d'automobile, ils ont besoin de nos produits agricoles, ils ont besoin de notre ciment, ils ont besoin de notre bois d'œuvre. Il y a énormément...
So when he's talking about being united,
Canada,
he's specifically referring to Alberta because Danielle Smith wants nothing to do with this.
Très, très bon marché ou bien... responsable aux Américains sur lequel ils dépendent pour...
If it's not for Alberta's oil, Canada would be completely bankrupt.
Sur
like
25...
in a full-blown recession.
Sur tout ce que le Canada produit, ça va faire mal aux Américains, aux consommateurs américains, aux producteurs américains. On s'attend à avoir des défis énormes dans l'industrie automobile, par exemple, aux États-Unis, où des pièces et du travail canadien et mexicain sont des éléments essentiels.
I've got a theory that he's answering questions in French so Americans don't understand.
Et encourager les Américains de revenir en arrière.
Like using some sort of code.
Et on va utiliser toute la gamme d'outils qu'on a. Pour être très clair, on ne veut pas être dans cette situation. C'est le choix des Américains de nous mettre dans cette situation-là, mais puisqu'on est ici, on va répondre de façon responsable et forte pour défendre le Canada.
Dans un match de hockey ce soir à Ottawa, durant l'hymne...
Yeah, so okay, now he's talking about how in Ottawa, the Ottawa Senators, the fans booed the American anthem. And he's not going to be happy with that?
No. Une très longue histoire.
We have a long history with Americans.
On a un partenariat sans pareil, mais il y a toujours eu des moments de différends.
We've been good partners, but sometimes we have differences
deux pays.
Between the two countries.
Des moments profondément sentis parce qu'on est si proches en tant qu'amis et famille. Et ça peut être pénible pendant qu'on passe à travers ces moments-là.
I'm lagging.
Confiance. J'ai confiance dans les Canadiens, mais surtout, j'ai aussi confiance
He has confidence in Canadians.
le peuple américain qui comprend à quel point leur lutte, leur grand défi dans le monde, c'est pas le Canada. Et qu'en travaillant ensemble, on va pouvoir passer à travers ces moments pénibles pour en sortant.
French is my first language. I'm a disgrace to my family.
Je pense que les
Oh my God.
Canadiens ne comprennent pas tout à fait pourquoi les Américains sont en train de cibler leurs meilleurs amis et leurs plus proches partenaires plutôt que d'autres pays.
It translated 1/10 of it.
I think Canadians are
English.
a little perplexed as to why our closest friends and neighbors are choosing to target us instead of so many other challenging parts of the world. I don't think there's a lot of Americans who wake up in the morning saying, oh, damn Canada. Oh, we should really go after Canada. We're there as friends, as partners. We always have been, we always will be. Sure, we're going through a difficult time right now, and yeah, emotions may run high here and there, particularly around hockey games. But I know we're going to make it through this because we have the most successful partnership the world has ever seen, and it's a true value in this time of
You just blew it up, bro.
challenging geopolitical instability.
You just blew it up.
Jillian Piper with Global News. Prime Minister, will you recall Parliament to pass a bill to help Canadian workers and end prorogation?
Good question.
As you can see from our strong response package, as we spoke about with premiers this afternoon and have for many weeks, we have the tools to be able to support Canadians through this challenging time.
Oh my God.
It's a moment for Canadians to pull together, including Canadians of all different political parties. This is a moment where we need to set aside our differences and focus on delivering for Canadians, standing up for Canadians, and protecting the most successful political, military, economic, and security partnership the world has ever seen. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We have the tools to do it as a government right now, and we will keep doing it alongside our premiers and our partners.
Oh my God, when asked if he's going to go back to Parliament because we're prorogued and now officially we're in a literal trade war with America, his answer is we have the tools to still do some stuff. We have the tools to start a trade war without being in Parliament, so there's no need. Are you kidding me? Who is this guy? Why is Trudeau able to do this shit? That's what I don't understand. He said he's going to resign, yet here he is putting us in a trade war saying, we don't need to go back to Parliament, man. That's all good. This is insane. Ending prorogation is officially off the table. This guy knows that there's not going to be an election until next year. Mark my words, there's not going to be a federal election in 2025. They're going to call emergency measures, and they're going to postpone it till 2026. Holy shit. We're seeing democracy collapse in Canada as we know it. Our country is over. You're going to see the Canadian dollar drop, dude. It's at like 68.8 cents. It's going to hit like 65 cents on Monday. Oh my God.
A member of the Canada-U.S. Council, Lana Payne, today said
This is so stressful.
would not act this way, and therefore the U.S. is no longer Canada's ally. Do you agree with that?
Like I said, I think there are going to be people who are upset and even hurt by what's gone on here. But I have faith. I have faith in Canadians, but I also have faith in the friendship between Canada and the United States that has gone through challenging times before, but we always make it through because we've been able to count on each other for over 150 years, and we will continue to be able to do that long into the future.
No, but that's the thing. That's the thing, dumbass. Come on, grab him by the shoulders and just shake him. That's the thing, is it doesn't matter if we have a history of 5,000 years, bro. A celestial freaking partnership. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. Trump doesn't care about that. He's America first, and if you're not with America, you're against America. And you just decided that Canada, 41 million Canadians, are now against America. I don't consent to this. This is not okay. Prorogation is off the table now. So Jagmeet Singh, the only way that Jagmeet Singh is going to be able to put forward the freaking bill or relief, the COVID style relief to give people money that are being affected by the tariffs is to not go when Parliament resumes, to not vote a non-confidence. There's not going to be an election. It's now official. There will be no election this year. This is insane.
This is a friendship that has stood the test of time, and despite challenges that we can work on and we will work on together, we will continue to be friends and neighbors.
But we're not friends.
You said earlier that
You just said.
move forward on measures that would further divide the country. Does this mean that blocking energy exports is fully off the table?
It means that any conversations around further measures, particularly involving one industry or one region of the country more than another, is something that we're going to do carefully and thoughtfully and with the full partnership of regional leaders, provincial premiers, businesses. No one part of the country should be carrying a heavier burden than any other. We're in this together. We're all going to stand together, and we'll be there for each other from coast to coast to coast.
Bro, we're not. But that's the thing, is Canadians don't want this. Only the leaders do. Us Canadians don't have a voice, yet it's us Canadians that are like, we're bearing this responsibility of this trade war, but we don't want this.
President Trump said in the executive order that it's about the border and fentanyl. Do you think that this is what it's about?
We have one of the strongest, more secure borders in the world between Canada and the United States. As I said, less than 1% of fentanyl going into the United States come from Canada. Less than 1% of illegal migrants going into the United States come from Canada. That doesn't mean there isn't more to do. And that's why we've invested $1.3 billion in strengthening our borders. And we're seeing over the past number of weeks, past couple of months, the numbers significantly decrease at the border already. We are...
Hold on a second. I watch House of Commons every single day. Okay, whoa. I know people are going to get angry with me. But everybody chill. Everybody chill. I know people are going to get angry with me. But I think Trudeau's wearing his wedding ring again. I watch House of Commons every single day. He took it off. He took it off for months. He didn't have a wedding ring on. He's wearing his Taylor Swift friendship bracelet right here, and he's got his wedding ring back on. Somebody look into that right now. Somebody look into that. I swear that's his wedding ring finger.
Making progress in working together, including sending joint teams over to China to talk about the precursor chemicals that get developed into fentanyl all across North America. There are things that we can and must do together, and I understand the preoccupation the American president has with fentanyl deaths. We share those preoccupations. We've seen far too many communities across our country devastated by toxic drug supplies, by fentanyl, by opioid addictions. We have taken action over the years, but we're happy to do even more with the United States to counteract this horrific tragedy. That's why we have committed to doing even more and working alongside. But this trade action against Canada is not the best way we can actually work together to save lives.
Good evening, Prime Minister. Stephanie Taylor with the National Post. What does it tell you about your relationship with President Trump that you've been trying to get a hold of him and he hasn't been speaking with you?
I think this is a time where we've all remarked on just how active President Trump has been in engaging with a wide range of topics in his first weeks in office. As you all know, I've had many good and substantive conversations with President Trump over the past months, where we've highlighted the work that we can do. Our ministers and officials have been engaging, in many cases like today, multiple times a day with their counterparts to talk through these issues, to move forward on areas of mutual concern. we will continue to engage, and I will continue to be there to work with President Trump as we've worked together in the past. We've worked together to solve some pretty challenging issues over the years. I look forward to doing that again. Je pense qu'on peut souligner à quel point le président est extrêmement actif avec beaucoup de différents enjeux. Beaucoup! Ça fait plusieurs mois que j'ai eu beaucoup de conversations avec lui sur les enjeux dont on est en train de discuter aujourd'hui. Il sait très bien mes positions et en même temps, les ministres sont extrêmement actifs à être engagés avec leur contrepartie américaine, y compris plusieurs fois chacun aujourd'hui, pour souligner le travail que nous pouvons faire. Alors, il faut se souvenir que moi et le président, nous avons réglé de grands enjeux dans le passé et je suis toujours prêt à le faire encore une fois.
But if you can't get a hold of President Trump on a day as consequential as this, when it really matters, can Canada have a productive relationship with President Trump and the Trump administration moving forward?
As I've said, we have had a very effective and constructive series of conversations throughout the American administration. We'll continue to. I look forward to speaking with President Trump in the coming days and weeks. This is something.
Who says he's even going to talk to you?
We've solved big issues before, and we will solve them again.
Last question, dernière question, s'il vous plaît.
Thanks for taking our questions. Race Patel, the Toronto Star. When did you first learn that President Trump intends to increase tariffs if Canada retaliates, and how has that changed your strategy?
I think Canadians understand that we need to respond to this. We need to respond in a way that is appropriate, that is measured but forceful, and that meets the moment. We're certainly not looking to escalate, but we will stand up for Canada, for Canadians, for Canadian jobs. We will also continue to do more together with the United States to counteract the scourge that is fentanyl. We will continue to work on growing our economies together, on creating jobs and competing with the rise of non-market economies around the world. We can and will do things together, and that is my focus. My job is to stand up for Canadians. That's exactly what we're doing. But we're also standing up for the relationship between Canada and the United States, which, as I've said, is the most successful partnership and friendship the world has ever seen.
You're dealing with the U.S. administration that says, there's nothing that you can do to stop this. We're not looking for any concessions. So do you see any conceivable way out of this because of that?
The coming weeks will be difficult for Canadians, and they'll be difficult for Americans. The level of cooperation, the level of effective partnerships between our two countries that have been established over decades and generations means that this trade action by the Americans and our response is going to have real consequences for people, for workers on both sides of our border. We don't want to be here. We didn't ask for this. But we will not back down in standing up both for Canadians and for the incredible, successful relationship and partnership between Canada and the United States. I look forward to working with the American administration on a range of challenging issues that our communities and our world.
How are you working with them if they're not even answering your calls?
And I hope that day comes soon. Merci beaucoup.
All right, this concludes today's press conference. Ça conclut la conférence de presse d'aujourd'hui. Merci.
Merci tout le monde.
What an absolute loser. What an absolute freaking loser. Look, we know that Justin Trudeau went down, it was before inauguration, after he won the election. Justin Trudeau flew down, which, by the way, takes some nuts to do. He takes some balls to just stop everything as the Prime Minister of Canada and fly down to Mar-a-Lago. I can admit that. I hate that I admit that, but I can admit that. But he really shot his shot there. He bent over, and he shouldn't have said some things to Trump. Trump has told us that during that conversation that he had with Justin Trudeau in Mar-a-Lago, Trudeau said that if we don't get those $200 billion or $250 billion subsidies from America, we will go broke. That's it. We will go absolutely bankrupt. I don't know why Justin would have said that information to Trump. You're talking about a Canada first approach. First of all, Canada's falling for multiple reasons right now. But the two big reasons Canada is falling is Jagmeet Singh's pension. I can't believe Canada is collapsing because of Jagmeet Singh's pension. And because Justin Trudeau had some loose lips in Mar-a-Lago where he told Trump that if we don't get those $250 billion subsidies from America, we're going tits up. They were whining and dining. Trudeau probably had some drinks. We know Trump doesn't drink. Did he purposely get him drunk so he'd spill some beans? I don't know. But he certainly shouldn't have said that, because now Trump knows. He made an offer to buy Canada, to acquire Canada as a 51st state. Now he knows Canada's about to go bankrupt. There's 6 months. The news admitted this today. There's 6 months before Canada goes into a full-blown recession. That's as of this morning. That doesn't include the COVID response relief program package that the Liberals are going to push forward, the billions of dollars of subsidies to give to Canadians the way they did during COVID, right? That's going to be used and abused and cost billions of dollars. So that brings our 6 months down to like 4 or 3 months. This also doesn't include Trump's retaliation to what Trudeau just did. We heard that this morning. Trump said he signed the deal. There you go. If Canada responds, we're going to hit them back harder. We're going to get hit back harder. So congratulations, everybody. We now have 25% tariffs put on America for a $150 billion market. Okay. Now Trump's going to increase our tariffs from 25% to like 100% or 75%. I doubt it's going to be 50. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be probably more than just tariffs. It's going to really, really hurt us to the point where Canada has no choice but to say, okay, we can't afford that. Please, we'll do anything. And we had that opportunity to do that right now. We can't afford to do this tariff war, this trade war with America. Please, let's talk about this. Tell us exactly what you need us to do, and we'll go do it right now. We had a real opportunity to do that, and now that's gone. One-time offer to get it done, and we dropped the ball. A man who is resigning, a man who's probably going to flee Canada, is making these decisions. That doesn't make any sense to anybody. I don't understand how the media isn't saying, we're not even going to cover your press conference, bro. You've committed to resigning. You're not even the real prime minister. Like, bye, get out of here, right? This is insane. Anyways, that's the press conference. That's the briefing. For those that are just tuning in, the TLDR, the too long didn't read version, is Canada is now in a full-fledged trade war with America, and we're going to get the shit end of the stick. We are absolutely going to get the shit end of the stick. Life is going to become very uncomfortable. So anyone who has friends or family that are American, there's probably going to be tension in those relationships. Anyone who's planning on traveling to America, you're probably going to experience some turbulence. We're going to see, like we saw tonight, the Ottawa Senators booed the American anthem. That's day one. That's day one, baby. Trump just signed the order this morning to put the tariffs on. That's day one. Booing. Canadians are booing the American anthem. That's very un-Canadian-like. That's day one. Imagine what day 2 looks like. Imagine what day 10 looks like. Imagine what day 30 looks like. Imagine what day 60 or 90 looks like. This isn't good. We're not winning this. We're going to get steamrolled by people. and Trump's going to retaliate. Canada's going to have no choice but to say, well, either we retaliate the retaliation or we submit. And this isn't ending well for anybody. It doesn't affect these douche-magooshes that gave the press conference. They're making dope money. They got benefits. They don't care. They got access to taxpayer funds. They don't care about this. They're just trying to get reelected to stay in power, to continue the gravy train. This is going to affect you and me and everyone that we know. Not good at all. I am going to take some time right now to read some of the super chats here. I noticed there was a tremendous amount of super chats by Americans, which is pretty wild. So, woohoo! Paid in U.S. dollars. Canadian pesos. So that's pretty sweet. That's like $1 bajillion Canadian. All right. Holy shit, there's a lot. Oh my God, there's so many. All right. Tails with the 2 saying, where is the Canadian Lee Harvey Oswald? I don't know who that is, but thank you. Carr with the 20 American. Look at that, man. Americans are just dishing out some cash tonight. That's beautiful. Thank you, guys. So sorry you guys are screwed if power shuts off. That's right, we are, because Doug Ford says, and that's not a tariff response, that's a separate response, that we're going to shut off power, and that's not going to end well. I believe that Trump will use military force if to retaliate against Canada if they shut off the power. You're just going to have some Black Hawk helicopters and some tanks roll into Canada, and they're going to be not guns pointed at people, but it might as well be at that point. And it's going to be turn the power on now or you're done. So that's not good. That's my prediction though. Conrad with the 2 Canadian, please add Canadian to Schengen of UE. Thanks for that. Steph with the 2 say no politician cares about us. They're all the same. It really feels like that. After seeing everyone's response, it kind of sort of feels that way right now. Tails with the 5 saying, I don't get the hesitation to protect our borders and stop the flow of illegal drugs. Why is the Canadian government so against that? Bro, it beats me. It beats me. I don't know. I don't understand. It's like that they're viewing it as bending over, but it's literally protecting our borders, making sure that our problems aren't bleeding into another country. Makes sense to me to fix those things. C1D with the 2. Thank you. No message though. I believe with the $4.99 American sticker. Beauty. Thank you. With a mic drop. That's what it is. Tails of the 2 saying Canadian priorities, whiter teeth versus secure the border. Yeah, that's the whole dental. Hey, don't worry, everybody. Even though we're in a trade war, you'll pay less when you go to a dental office. Maybe. Steffi M with the 2 again saying Trump put a relationship clause on tariffs. Dude, this is the most ridiculous. I've seen Trudeau speak so many times with press conferences, with House of Commons, House of Canada, and this was the most ridiculous thing he's ever said. I think this was more ridiculous than his commitment to resigning. That's just my opinion, though. Rubiduck with the 5 American saying, I sent a late Xmas gift to my boyfriend who lives in Canada, as well as vitamin C supplements, 2 months worth. This is the first time BC scanned my stuff. That's interesting to know. Thanks for that info. Rubiduck says he just signed it. Is your boyfriend, I'm assuming, for your vitamin C package? Independent free thinker, outlaw all parties. That's one hell of a name. With the 5 Americans saying Canada, 51st state constitution, First Amendment, freedom of speech, Second Amendment, gun rights, Canadian flag will become a state flag, freedom rules. Man, there is a lot. There is a lot of people in Canada and even Americans that support just becoming the 51st state. A lot of people. Let me know down in the comments right now if you guys do. I did this before, and then Trudeau came out and spoke right away. But just drop some 51s down in the chat. Like, go crazy with it if you support Canada becoming the 51st state. And if you don't support it, then just don't put it down in the chat. Michael with the 2 saying, so does that mean we stop all foreign aid and NGO funds? Well, that's interesting. So yeah, I wonder what that's going to mean moving forward. Like, so when America goes into their fire season, or when Canada goes into our fire season, are we going to have help from America, or are we going to give them help? Or we show up there and it's like, oh, you want our help? Okay, well, here's the bill. Like, I don't know what this is going to look like. Canada, we're probably still going to help America with those things, but I don't know if America is going to be helping us with certain things anymore. Not after this speech. Mike with the 5 Americans saying a well-governed Canada would be the wealthiest country in the world. Dude, I know. That's the worst part, Mike. That's the worst part, bro. Is we had an opportunity like 40, 50 years ago to go down a different path and actually be like a super wealthy and independent country. And we're not doing that, man. And it takes so much time and energy to fix this, especially with the trade war that just started today. The Price is Right review with the 20 American. Wow. Sup American sub. Because your government, no offense, is playing with fire against Trump, what happens if Trump decides to go full overkill, 100% tariffs on Canada? Trump could leave NATO as well from a lot of this. Well, that's exactly what I think is going to happen. The Price is Right review. Thank you for the 20 American, which is like 75 Canadian at this point. That's exactly what I think is going to happen, is I think Trump is going to pull out of NATO. All right, NATO, you're on your own. You're not paying the bills. Good luck. Something like that's going to happen. Or he's just going to increase the admission fee from 2% to 5%. He's talked about it, but hasn't officially done anything. If that's the case, Canada's getting the boot, or we're getting more tariffs because we're at like 1.3 or 1.25%. And in terms of the tariffs going up to 100%, dude, I think they're going to go above 100%. I think they're going to be 150%. Like, I think Trump is just going to go super duper overkill. He's got to, right? Trump doesn't want to be made a fool. He wants everyone in the world to respect him. He said that in his rally speeches. He said that as inauguration. And he keeps saying it now. America will be respected. We will make America great again. That's phenomenal. America should have that mentality. America is the world superpower. I'm pro that. Unfortunately, with bad leadership, we are getting the short end of the stick right now. But if I were an American, I would be extremely patriotic and say, hoorah, America's doing the right thing. It's just a tricky situation. I don't think that our people are handling it well. Canadian guy with the 5 saying, I wonder if Miss Peppa Pig likes Carney the dinosaur. I can't believe I said that. I don't even know what I said. I called her Miss Peppa Pig or something like that. Man, it was so funny in my head. And that's not the first time. I've done it privately too, like with friends and stuff. I'll make references to certain things, and I'll use like kids shows or kids movies. Man, you're really acting like Woody in Toy Story 3 right now. Like, to me, it makes sense because I might have just watched Toy Story 3 with my kids. But to other people who like don't have kids, it's like, what are you saying? You're calling me Woody from Toy Story 3? Yeah. Life being a parent. Oliver Ruff with the 10 American saying, have a revolution, join the States. I mean, Oliver, as you can see from the chat, there's a lot of people, the most people right now. We could form our own little town with the amount of people in the live chat that are putting 51 down in the comments. That's crazy. I think I said it like 5 minutes ago and it's still going. Like, there's still 51s being put in the chat. It's wild. And now that I've just acknowledged it, there's probably going to be a whole other wave of 51s put in the chat. All right. The Price is Right review, once again, with a 20 American saying, I dare France to send troops to Greenland. Trump's response, okay, France and Denmark, we see you. Bye, NATO. I'm predicting this will be a collision course leaving NATO. That will be the death of the EU if this happens. Man, the geopolitics right now, everything that's at stake, it's just, there's so many moving parts and it's happening so fast. And we all knew it was coming. We all knew that this version of Trump would be unhinged and unpredictable and like pretty crazy in a like good-ish way, not like crazy in a bad way, not crazy like Trudeau. And it's proving right. And everything that he's doing, that we're predicting, like, we're going to hit Canada with 25% tariffs. And then it's like, okay, yeah, it's coming. And then he hits it and it's like, what? He hit us with tariffs. Like, it's just that shock of it really happening. We knew Trudeau was going to respond with a retaliatory response. He said it. We all knew it was going to happen. And then he says it and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you said it. So it's just, we're living through a movie, man. You don't need Netflix. You don't need Disney. You don't need Crave. You don't need Hulu. You don't need Apple TV. You need YouTube, of course. But you don't need those other things because just the world right now is insane. Politics is just insane. And see, I told you about the 51. I said 51 states, and then there was another wave of 51. And now that I'm mentioning it again, the chat is going nuts. The chat's going nuts. People want to be part of America. People want to be part of America. Gildan Finch with the 5 American. Man, there's so many Americans. There's so many Americans in here. Texans have been American for 180 years and they are still proud Texans. Why would Canadians not still be proud Canadians if you joined? That's a good question. That's a freaking phenomenal question. I mean, I think it's just I don't know how to answer this. And I haven't really come out with a firm stance on whether or not I would want to be part, like 51st state. I think there's a lot of pros there's like a tremendous amount of pros for Canada to have some form of a merger with America, whether that's a 51st state or whether that's something along the lines of what Kevin O'Leary has said for, an economic merger. But fucking, oh my God, fucking 51st state, baby. 51st state. Make us the 51st state. Come on. How worse can it get? At least we'll be protected. How worse can it get? Come on. Make us a 51st state. I'll come out and say it. What the hell? I'll pop my cherry on that one. Make us a 51st state. We can be a proud northern state. Mike with the 5. Here is my final offer. Alberta and Saskatchewan. Come be our 51st state. We'll match your Canadian dollar, 1-for-1 American dollar. Dude, if that's the case, if America matches the Canadian dollar 1-for-1 on a one-time occasion, all of your Canadian investments in your TFSAs, RRSPs, your checkings, your savings account, your RESPs, everything. If Trump says, okay, Canada, you're being acquired, you're coming to America, all of your Canadian, you got 100,000 Canadian dollars, one time gets switched to American dollars. All of a sudden now you got significantly more value, bang for your buck. Man, that would be so good. That's something Kevin O'Leary talked about. Damn, that would be so good. Intellectual, I can't read that. Intellectual something. Sorry, it's my browser is like really zoomed out. With the 10 American, I'd love to see Canada become the 51st to 55th states, but through choice of affiliation by the citizenry of Canada. I think we're going to get there, man. I think with this trade war and these tariffs, I think we're going to get there. I think that we're probably not going to have a choice. Our dollar's going to be so bad. People are going to say, man, we got to do something. And it's going to happen. Claire with the 1, no message attached though. Thank you. Japheth with the 2 saying rather Trump than liberals being in power longer. Hey man, you'd have to be crazy to disagree with that. People are still putting 51 in the chat. Folks, I'm on board with it. I'll put a 51 in the chat too. Look at that. 51. Bam. Mike with the 5 saying, my guess, instead of bending the knee, Trudeau will play the tough guy. Well, he did. He absolutely did. Why did he have to do that? M. Williamson with the membership. Thank you. Almost Ashley with the 279. Alberta only as a 51st state. No, almost Ashley. No, I gotta move to Alberta first if that's the case. I mentioned 51, bro, and the chat is going nuts. Oh my God, you guys. All right, I'll do it again. I'm pro 51, man. I'm pro 51. Let's do it. I'm pro 51. Jafath with the 5 saying, and here we go. And that was the start of when we started. And almost Ashley with the 279s and Justina just bent us over. Yep. Started with the freaking coming out guns blazing. We're in a trade war. Mike with the 5 saying, good night, Canada. How did this guy ever get into office? Dude, beats me, man. Beats me. I don't know. He offered to legalize pot. That was, I think that was it. That was the kicker. I think a lot of people they have buyer's remorse on that one. Mike again with the 5 saying, it's like me picking a fight with Mike Tyson at his peak. Yup. Not like Mike Tyson v. Jake Paul. No, Mike Tyson at his peak. Rashad with the 1. No message though. Thank you. Stevie with the 20 American. We will not hate you. We will hate your government. Your government needs to learn it's in the find out part of the equation. Yup. It's in the find out part of the equation. Baby, I'm pro 51. Like, let's go. I am down for it. I don't want this. I don't want a trade war. Your currency is going to tank. I'm sorry, says Golf Snobby with the 2 American. I know. It's so depressing, guys. It's so depressing. It's good. We're about to hit historic lows, Glenn. We're about to hit historic lows. Canadians understand that reference. The 51st state folks understand that reference. Pug Warrior with the 10 American. America is sick of being the world's doormat. Everyone talks crap about us until they need us. Then they cry when we take action. Doormat or bullies. Now it's time to throw our weight around. Dude, I don't blame America for that. That's the craziest part. Call it whatever you want. I don't blame America for that. America's been the laughingstock of the world for so long. People talk so much crap about America. Dude, I'm sure I've done it in the past. We all have. Canadians do, right? It's like a prestigious thing. Like, well, at least we're not like Americans, right? And that's just our media and our politicians programming us. And now we're all finding out, and it's like, oh my God. No, let's be American. Please let us in. We're in the find out. The whole world is in the find out part. And I don't blame Trump and I don't blame Americans for having that mentality. It's about time. It's about time that America puts its foot down. And that obviously would never have happened with a Democrat president. I'm pro-Trump. I was pro-Trump on the first round, and I'm pro-Trump now. It sucks a little bit that this is happening to Canada. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's our politicians' fault, right? Phantom Tiger with the 20 American saying, maybe it's my dumb American brain, but it's wild to me to have 2 national languages. Can you imagine how long of a speech from Trump it would be if he had to say everything in Spanish too? ¿Cómo estás, americanos? It is kind of crazy. I mean, we're used to it. Usually there's a bit of a sandwich process to it. It starts off in French a little bit, and then it's English, and then it ends off in French. Usually there's a translator. So this was a very unique situation. I don't know why there wasn't a translator. I was direct from the CPAC, that's like the C-SPAN, I think, in America, like direct from our government broadcasting. And normally that always has a translator. So I'm not sure why there wasn't that today. Because if they're running it through CBC and CTV, I'm sure everybody was streaming it. They wouldn't have their own translator working for the media company. It would have just been whatever the government produces. So the government didn't produce a translator, which is super, super bizarre. So we should speak English and American. Starting to be American. Got to work on my American accent, my Southern accent. Bonnie Dune Homestead with the 7 American. It's about socialism, not the Canadian people. Socialism fails always. Yeah. Thank you for that, Bonnie. Stevie J with the 10 American. Bro, these are all American. It's just Americans donating today. I love being the 51st state. I'm on board with this. Stevie J with the 10 American. He thinks Trump will back down. Bless his heart. Damn it, Stevie. I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that so bad. And I forgot about it, but I say it a lot. Bless his heart, bless his heart, bless his heart. I love that saying in America because it's so condescending. I love it. I love that saying in America. A lot of Canadians don't know what it is. A lot of Canadians, what does that mean? Bless his heart. Oh, it's the most condescending thing ever. I love it so much. Mike says, Gallon back. Hope I look pretty with the 5. I believe that was Melanie Jolie, Canada's LARPing Barbie, G.I. Jane. Cole with the 10, American. Love Canadians. Trump wants to get rid of the WEF and cartels in North America, lower income taxes. Hey, Cole, that's what we want. Canada doesn't want to be a part of the World Economic Forum. Our Prime Minister and everyone in the Liberal Party, part of the World Economic Forum. We don't want none of that. We don't want no cartels. We don't want some snow cartels. Okay? I don't know if we have cartel in Canada, but we don't want them. We sure as shit don't want them. And we for sure want lower income taxes. Absolutely. Mumima with the 5 Canadian. Flags in Canada need to be flown upside down to show we are in distress. Yes, I agree with that. We should start that trend. Just everyone goes back to flying their flags upside down. I know that happened during the convoy. That was a huge thing. People would use hockey sticks to do that. But we should get back to that. Jafath with a 2 saying, I can't. Take me to a better government, America. A lot of people want that 51st outcome. A lot of people want that 51st outcome. David with the 5 saying he's going to print money and cause massive inflation. F Trudeau. Well, that's exactly what he's going to do with this this relief package that he's saying he wants to put in. Is he's going to print a massive amount of money, just like he did during the blip, just like the COVID response, and it's going to hurt our economy so bad. And then we're going to be hit with the second round of tariffs from Trump. Almost Ash again with the 279. Nobody has faith in Canada anymore. We are ruined. We definitely are. Thank you for that. Almost. Bobby Brown with the 279. America relies on us 18%. We rely on them 75%. I'd say we almost rely on them more than that. Because if you remove America's presence and you separate us from America with like an ocean, right? Just put us out there on an island like Hawaii. Just put us way out in the ocean. Canada's an island, right? Way, way, way out there. Would we be at risk of being invaded by another country or getting into an actual physical war with another country? Yes, 100%. Absolutely, we would. The only reason Canada is like, I don't want to say known by the world because we're not known by the world from being America's neighbor, but we're definitely not touched by the rest of the world because we are America's neighbor. Yes, and denying that is just pure ignorance. Malice Gaming with the 5 American. Sorry, my Canadian friends. Trump's going to double your tariffs by tomorrow. You guys are doomed. We are going to bankrupt you for this. I love how Americans are so polite about it. Maybe that's something. He says, sorry, my Canadian friends. And that's like a Canadian thing to always say sorry. So already we're pretty much the 51st state. We're rubbing off on Americans. Americans normally, when you're talking about like, you know, when America is saying, hey, you need some freedom over there in that country, they don't say, sorry, we're coming to your country. They just say, we're coming to give you some freedom. But with Canada, it's always, sorry, Canada, but we're going to hit you back hard. We're sorry about this. And that's like the Canadian way of going about things. Sorry, but X, Y, Z. And so we're already brushing off on Americans. That's kind of funny. I like that. Bobby Brown with the $6.99. Never thought I'd wake up and have Jagmeet's pension be the end of Canada. Yep, Jagmeet's pension literally is causing the end of Canada. That's a pretty crazy thought. Then you have VB with the 279. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for that. And then David Tomes with the 1111 saying, keep up the good work. Thank you for that, sir. Appreciate that. I'll try and hop in later tonight. Island Girl with the 10 with the super sticker. Danny Latulip with the 10 saying RCMP and the CAF now have a choice. Who do they protect, the Canadian population or the corrupt government? Will they step in and arrest the traitors that are Justin Trudeau and his team of premiers? Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to do that, though, or else they would have done something like that during the Freedom Convoy, like the largest movement Canada's ever seen domestically by far. They did nothing. They just complied with orders. So I think we're just doomed until we get invaded or something. Something along those lines. Gangster Computer God with the 199 American. Here's some freedom bucks to help. Thanks. Great stream. Thank you for that. Freedom bucks. I like that. Trent Hyatt with a 10. Canadians stand up in the streets. Show your government who's boss. Well, they definitely know that Canadians are pissed off. We're not really a standing up in the kind of streets type of country, except in the cold during like the Freedom Convoy. But we're definitely pretty vocal about this. My channel and many other channels like it are doing a phenomenal job of showing how pissed off Canadians really are. I know it sounds silly because it's all like social media stuff and just numbers, but man, the numbers add up. The numbers add up, and they're pretty competitive and comparable to the mainstream media's numbers. And this is all independent stuff. So shout out to everyone who's, using social media for good and sticking it to the government in that sense. Y7 with the 699. The crazy part of all this is that is all because Jagmeet wanted his pension. I feel like I read that one already. Maybe it was a different one, but that's the same thing that someone else just said, and I couldn't agree more. Jagmeet wanted his pension, and that's why we're here, because if he voted in favor of non-confidence before the Christmas break, before the American or right around the American election, we wouldn't be in this position. Not even close. Burrito Boy with the 699 doesn't want Canada to be dependent on USA, but will get mad if we turn the power off. Ironic, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of irony in all this. Clown World of 5 Americans. Sorry, Canadians. We know it's not you. It's your terrible leaders. Can't wait for conservative North America. Yeah. Republican North America. Sayato with the 2. Either Occupy Ottawa or 51. I'm down for either. I think that there's going to be a bridge that's made between like Kevin O'Leary, and he's doing a great job. And I don't know if Jordan Peterson's in on it. And Elon Musk has ties to Canada. He went to school in Canada. So there's some pretty famous people up there that are talking about this. I think Joe Rogan's going to speak about this more now that the tariffs are a real thing and it's an actual trade war. And so you're going to start to see a lot of famous people come out of the woodwork and talk about this and say, look, Canada, we need to figure something out. And that's how stuff actually happens these days. I know it's silly, but I think that with the social norm being pushed more towards like the 51st state or an economic merger, you're going to see something like that happen. Hosier Trucker with the 1199. He was warned and expect probably 50% tariffs come Monday. As an American, Trump warns his actions far in advance, but people test him. I don't know the outcome, but best wishes to all Americans. I mean, we were warned and we found out. We effed around and now we're finding out. Claire Ruckman with the 2 American. Lake Erie and the surrounding states have a treaty. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Saucy G with the 10 American. What in Trump's request to Canada is so unreasonable. Liberal and NDP are going to tank Canada even further. Sad to see this when there's a solution at hand. I know. Fix our stuff. Fix our border. That's pretty much it. Omar with the 279, 63rd state. LOL. I guess if every province and territory became a state, then maybe there'd be 63. I'm assuming that's what that means. Docky with the 20 American. Trump acts to carbon tax for you. That might be the solution. It might honestly come to that. Trump might be able to axe the tax for us before anyone else can do anything about it. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. Because this isn't what the people of Canada deserve. We don't deserve to go through a trade war. America doesn't deserve to go through a trade war. But sometimes you gotta cut off a finger to save an arm type of thing, right? Raziano with the 2 American, would a majority be okay 51st? It seems impossible. I mean, there's still people putting a 51 down in the chat. Maybe we get another 51 run of chats going. I think a lot of people watching this are very much on board. Logic got Mistersunshinebaby to come to the light, says Gildan Fitch. Sorry, it's very zoomed out with the 2 American. I'm starting to see the light, baby. Those freedom bucks in America. Those freedom bucks. Craig Bragg with the 10 Canadian. Trump's tariffs are meant to bring Canada and Mexico to heel before the North American Economic Union negotiations begin. Well, that's probably a strategy, Craig. To be honest, that's probably a strategy of his. Force nearly a recession on both countries, and then do what he wants. Probably something that's going to happen. Uncle Chico with the 10 Canadian. Alberta's ready to be the 51st. Man, it ain't just Alberta. It's a lot of people. River Zedge with the 1, no message. Thank you. Almost Ashley again with a 6.99. Okay. All of Canada 51. We want you with us. Yup. A lot of people in the chat still rating 51. Pug Warrior with the 5 American. All Americans need to make everyone bend the knee is to threaten to leave NATO and join BRICS with Russia and China. Probably won't ever happen. No, I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't think that'll ever happen at all. I think I just lost where I was, though. Miserable Canuck with 6.99. Combustion engines forever. Yup. Absolutely. All right. Clinton Jaws with the 20 Canadian. Sorry, this is Canadian money. Do you think Trudeau is a gay man? I've got a few videos that say Trudeau's come out as the first gay prime minister of Canada. I mean, we'll see. I think we'll tell with time. I think, if he quacks like a duck and walks like a duck and acts like a duck, he might be a bit of a duck. Thanks for the 5 American or 20 Canadian, Clinton. That's a buddy of mine, by the way. So I'm laughing. Mark Guidetti with the 5 American. Alberta needs to leave Canada and join the U.S. We love Alberta here in the U.S. And Alberta loves America. Alberta very much. If you put it to a vote, I think you'd have the majority of Alberta that would want to be part of America and be the 51st. Jamie Stewart with the 5 Canadian. This is all a plan that was put into place during that dinner. Trump gets what he wants, and the prime minister gets to look like he put up a fight. 51st, yep. And you could be right. That could be part of it, right? I think that when it comes to the negotiations, Trump is leaps and bounds, kilometers ahead of anyone else. Mike with the 5. We pretty much had you when you captured the NHL. We pretty much had you when you captured the NHL. Man, I can't believe the people at the Sens game tonight booed the American anthem. That's so distasteful. I've never seen nothing like that from Canada or Canadians. Lily Rose with the 5. Please send this video to Trump. Let him see the support of people who want to become the 51st state. Thank you, Mr. Sunshine, for everything. I appreciate that, Lily. Thank you very much. Carrie with the 5. Trump, come get your 51st state. We are ready. Man, people are still typing 51st state in the chat, and people are sending super chats and stuff that say 51st state. The people want what the people want. Jeremy Donahue with the membership. Thank you for that. Terry Snyder with the 10 American. Would Britain have to okay Canada joining America and Trump to Trudeau? Fafo. See, I don't think so. We're still a part of the monarch, but we're not. I don't think that they're playing the role of mom and pa for Canada anymore. I think they were, but I think that stopped in the 80s or something like that. I'm not sure, but I don't think it would even matter if Trump is really going to do it. I don't think he would stop and say, "Hey, Britain, y'all mind if we get a bottle of water from Canada?" I think he would just do what he does. Trent Hyatt with the 5 American. When Trump sees they booed the anthem, tariffs will hit 100%. Sorry. Bro, Americans don't apologize. And they're saying sorry in the chat tonight. Like, this is wild. Thank you, Americans. See, we all get along. We all get along already. We've got Americans that are saying sorry to things that they wouldn't normally say sorry to. Am I missing something here? Or are we just designed to be one big happy family? That's how I'm looking at it. Arrow with the 5 Canadian. Alberta separate now, maybe 51st state, see what they offer. It's kind of a race right now between Alberta and between Quebec to separate. A lot of people think Quebec wants to, Quebec does want to separate right now, but Alberta might actually beat them to the punch. I've almost made it to the bottom of the list, folks. Please stop donating so I can end the live stream after I read the final one. Kyle R with the $6.99. People are calling Trudeau a traitor, but pray to be the 51st state. The pot calling the kettle black. Get out and don't come back. I don't know if you meant to sound like Dr. Seuss, but you sure did. Buck Brink with the $4.99 American. Convoy number 2 incoming. There's been a lot of talk about a second convoy and this and that. And I don't think it's going to happen. And if it did try to happen, I think the government would just shut it down immediately because obviously they wouldn't want a repeat of the first one. Sherilyn King with the 2 Canadian. I think every province should be a state. I think the majority of the chat tonight agrees with you. And Denny Ringas with the 279 saying, we the people want freedom 51, which would mean becoming the 51st state of America. And I think a lot of people tonight in the chat very much agree with that one. Okay, folks, I think we did it. Nope. M. Martin wanted the last one. The strength of a united North America would be unstoppable to the future. The $4.99 American, says M. Martin. It really would be. I think that in the future, you're going to see, it's going to be a couple options. You're going to see the world dominated by Western culture or Sharia law. And if all of us had to pick right now which one we'd want, it would be Western culture. And the only way to do that is to have strong alliance. Call me a traitor, call me whatever names you want. I think Canada being a part of America, whether it's being the 51st state or whether we have some form of an economic merger, I think that's the freaking way to go, man. I think that's the way to go. Gaedo with the 2 American, 1K troops on the border, and Trump's happy. Easy. And that's what I'm saying. Canada just needs to send a bunch of people to the border, man. Just send an overwhelming amount of military force and say, hey, Papa Trump, did we do it? Did we do it? Are we good? Stevie J, read my $100 super chat with the 2 American. Bro, I'm saving it for last. I've got it pulled up right now, Stevie. I've got it pulled up, Stevie. Stevie with the 100 American dollars, which is like 500 Canadian dollars. If it's not that right now, it's soon to be. Thank you, Stevie. We, as Americans, understand this is going to cause discomfort in the short term. But we also know that there is an end goal. And we, the people, are playing the long game now. It's time we do what is right for America, not what is right for the rest of the world. And that is going to be the last super chat that I read tonight. Thank you, Stevie J, for the 100 American. Holy crap, dude. That was crazy. I again, like I've said, I've absolutely said that it's about time America does something that is pro-America. You've had Biden for the past 4 years. America, the level of patriotism now from 3 years ago, 2 years ago, from 1 year ago, from 15 years ago, it's becoming back to all-time highs. And that's good for America. I'm not just saying that to pump your tires. I'm saying that because America's the world's superpower. They're also our freaking protectors. Without America, the world would crumble. It would be under brinks. There would be communism everywhere. There'd be craziness going on around the world. So the world needs America. Canada needs America. We all need each other. Canada's sitting on an insane amount of good resources, and we could be feeding that to our own people, open up intra-provincial trade or intrastate trade if we were to be absorbed by America, and then giving all of our, well, not giving, but having a merger of some sort where we're selling stuff to other states in America, whether we're part of America or not. All these phenomenal trade deals with our actual resources, which we're not even really using anyways. There's so much work that needs to happen. There is so much work that needs to happen, and especially now that we're in a full-blown trade war. It's very uncomfortable moving forward, but just know that I don't have any resentment towards Americans. I don't have any resentment towards the American government. I love Americans. I love America. I've been to America a lot. I've worked with American soldiers when I was in the Army. Got a lot of respect for the American military. I have a lot of respect for Americans. And currently, I have a lot of respect for the American government under Trump, even though he just did what he did right now. I don't even think most Canadians are upset with Trump. I think most Canadians are upset with Trudeau and the Liberals for doing I guess not doing what they should have been doing, which is securing our borders, making sure that Canada is not bleeding from, fentanyl and crimes and criminals and freaking bunch of Saddam Husseins running around our country, hopping into America, causing Saddam Hussein terrorist activities. Nobody wants that. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but please, on this note, this is where I'm going to end it. Whether you're Canadian or you're an American, I think that the best thing to do right now is just maintain good relationships with your friends and your family that are on the other end of this. I don't think this is a time for the people to lash out against one another. I think this is a time for everybody who's from different countries, whether you're a Canadian and you want to be part of the 51st state or not, whether you're an American and you got Canadian friends and family. I think it's a time for all of us to stay on good terms with each other. Just because our governments are bickering doesn't mean that we have to bicker amongst ourselves. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to end it. I'm going to go drink all of the other American booze that I have because it's illegal. And man, I'd hate to commit a spontaneous illegal crime that just spurted up tonight, because I'm in BC, but freaking David Eby, my goodness gracious. What a shit show today was, but not to worry. Let the government do what the government's going to do. And I'm going to continue doing what I do, which is make videos and talk absolute crap about our government. Peace and love, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for all the super chats. Obviously, that's phenomenal. The best way to support the channel is just by liking and subscribing. Those are free. If you want to support financially by super chatting or doing all those things, then you are more than welcome to. You can also purchase a membership. I love you all. Thank you for being here for as long as you have been, and I'll see you guys in another video tomorrow. Bye for now.